Welcome to the deep dive. So, today we're going to get into something that, well, it touches all of us every single day. Consumption.
Right. And not just, buying things.
Exactly. We mean food, sure, but also media, even our attention. It's constant.
Uh-huh. It really is. We're always taking stuff in, often, maybe, without giving it a second thought.
Yeah, totally reactive sometimes. Which kind of leads us to the big question for this deep dive.
What happens if we actually stop
Mm-hmm.
and, become aware of these habits? Maybe even consciously choose differently.
That's the core of it. We've looked at some really interesting personal reflections, sort of observations on daily life to pull out some practical ideas.
The goal being, I guess, to find some shortcuts, ways
Yeah.
to be more intentional about what we let into our lives.
Exactly, a path to being more mindful. Okay, so where do we start? Maybe right at that moment you're thinking of buying something.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's so easy, isn't it? You see a sale or something's trending or it's just there online, one click away.
That instant gratification.
But some of these reflections mention something interesting, a simple 24-hour wait rule.
Oh, yeah. What effect did that have?
Well, people noticed a real drop in impulse buys. Sometimes, like over 30%, just from waiting a day.
Wow, okay. So what's happening in that pause, do you think?
It seems like it forces a check-in. Like, is this something I actually need? Or is it just, that little buzz of getting something new?
That dopamine hit versus a genuine requirement, moving from just reacting to actually thinking.
Exactly. And thinking about the stuff we already have that brings up decluttering.
Right, clearing out physical space, which, reading these reflections, seems to be about more than just tidiness.
Oh, for sure. It's about recognizing what's already there and maybe things you haven't used in ages
Yeah, seeing what you own.
and connecting that maybe to pushing back against that feeling of always needing more.
Finding contentment with just enough, breaking that cycle.
Precisely. It fosters that sense of satisfaction, which is a pretty big mental shift for many people.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that connects to how we spend, right? The impact of our choices.
Definitely. The reflections pointed out something key.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you buy something, you're basically casting a vote. You're supporting that company, its practices.
Its whole business model, yeah. So it makes you think,
Are my purchases actually lining up with my values?
good question. Like maybe choosing brands that care about, say, sustainability or how they treat people, or just making quality stuff that lasts.
Even if it costs a bit more sometime.
Right. Framing it perhaps less as cost and more as investing. Investing in better, not just accumulating more.
Yeah, better not more. I like that.
Now, something else came up quite a bit, and it might sound a little simple, but it's about thankfulness.
Gratitude. It can sound a bit cliche, I know.
Yeah, but the personal stories really highlighted its power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems that actively appreciating, the things you do have can genuinely dial down that urge to buy more stuff to fill some kind of void.
It shifts your focus away from lack towards abundance, I guess, what's already there.
Well put. And that idea of focus is crucial when we talk about media, too.
Oh, yeah, the attention economy. Several reflections talked about our attention being like, well, currency, a really valuable one.
It is. And what's wild is how our clicks, our scrolls, the things we share, it all actively shapes our mindset.
And we're not just passively consuming information.
Not at all. We're kind of co-creating our own mental environment and influencing the wider digital space, too.
Which brings us to that idea of a digital diet.
Yeah, like being mindful about what information we feed our brains, just like we think about food.
So making conscious choices there, too.
Exactly. It means maybe, unfollowing accounts or news sources that just drain you or make you feel bad.
And actively seeking out stuff that nourishes, inspires.
Right. Curating your intake, taking control of that information flow rather than just letting it wash over you.
Okay, so pulling this all together, mindful consumption, whether we're talking buying things or watching videos or even just where our thoughts go.
It really seems to boil down to being present, being aware.
And intentional, making conscious choices in those little everyday moments.
Which leads nicely into maybe a final thought for you, the listener.
Go for it.
Think about just one area in your life. Could be small. Where could you apply one of these ideas right now? Maybe it's waiting on that online cart. Maybe it's putting your phone down and just appreciating something you own. Or maybe it's hitting unfollow.
Just pick one thing.
Yeah, pick one thing. And just notice. Observe what happens, what shifts, even in a tiny way, when you bring a bit more awareness to what you consume.